Yo, Jimmy Lewis, check it out. The Sump refugium. Let me go over what I was telling you about earlier. Pretty straightforward, right? I got my my inflow, drops all the way down, hits the water, still goes down, and hits my bag of media right here. So in that bag of media, I have carbon and GFO. It's relatively big. I mean, it's, you know, a little bit smaller than a volleyball and a little bit bigger than a softball, I'd say. Let me bring you around so you can kind of see that it just, you know, hits it right away. I do have some air bubbles that come up. No big deal. Who cares? That's why you have a refugium. Sorry, that's why you have a sump with different compartments. And then on this side right here, I have my inflow for the skimmer. Skimmer pumps up, goes up, skims away. And then the outflow of the skimmer is on the same side as everything. So I have a lot of water flow down here. I mean, you can see the top, all the water is moving, kind of shaking around. And then I have my first bag of Chemipure Elite. I run 2 bags. Here's the first bag right here. And I have my return from the UV filter pointing literally just right into it to get as much water going through it as possible. So let me show you the UV. This is the one from Coral Life that I was showing you guys. I think I sent the link to Lewis at some point online, or maybe at that time we were on Instagram. So this is being fed by this canister filter. The canister filter is completely empty. There's no media, there's no bioballs, there's nothing. Just small little rock rubbles, and that's about it for added filtration. This is being kept in the dark 24/7 because, believe it or not, but different positive or good biological filtration grows in the dark than some of the stuff that grows in the light. So that just sucks it in and then shoots it back out into my UV filter, twirls around, pops out, and then that's the tube that I just showed you guys that hits the Chemipure Elite. My refugium is pretty simple. I got some rocks on one side. I got some, you know, little polyps and stuff growing just for fun. You can see that I have bubbles coming up. That's because you can't really see, but on the side underneath here I have some holes. You can kind of see it right here. There you go. Got some holes to add water flow, and I have the same thing on the other side. So you remember I split my sump in 2 completely. So on one side I have all the algae, all the macroalgae. This is about 10 inches deep, 6 inches wide. So 6 inches, 12 inches, and it's about 13 inches from side to side. So these are split perfectly. Get a better, there you go. And for my refugium, I don't use my my light. I use the T7s. Showed you guys these T7s at some point in the back. You can't see shit. Let me go around. Right here I got some T7s, 2 of them, and these are literally just pointing at the back of the aquarium, sorry, the back of the refugium, and it just grows the algae like crazy, because it's better to have it on the side instead of the top, because the top doesn't hit as much surface as what I'd like to. So the side, obviously you can see that it would hit all of my 10 inch deep by 13 by 6, so it's more beneficial. It works better for me. Down to the last portion. So what I have is I have a little bit of the filtration. This is literally just to grab the big pieces. I cleaned it today. I'm pretty much on top of it. I clean it almost every day, to be honest with you. And if I don't clean it for 1 or 2 days, I just take it out completely. So let me just take it out to show you underneath it. So underneath it, I have a line of the large blue biological balls. So those are the bio balls. I took one out to show you guys. I got a bunch of these. But there are these bio balls right here. Really simple, really straightforward, and you just kind of stack them together, kind of like Legos, and then that's it. And then I make a line, I make a row of them, and then I slap it right in there. And that's for one thing. It's to start calming the water down, and as my sump level goes down, it doesn't create bubbles. Underneath that, I have small biological balls. These are the small ones. I took one out just to show you. These are the small ones. These work really good for what their intended purposes is, and that's for biological filtration. I like them. They're badass. And then after that, I have just a little egg crate. They call it at Home Depot, or a light crate, whatever you want to call it. And behind that, you can't really see, but that's a bag of Chemipure Elite. So I have it in the same spot as you. It works well, and I keep it that way. This section's pretty straightforward, honestly. I got my one heater, and I got a second heater, and then I have this pump. So I have my return pump down here, and then on the other side, I have this pump that just keeps all the water from moving, because I don't want to have any water just kind of standing there, because that just eliminates detritus. So here it is. So I have that just running whatever. Sometimes I place it on a certain angle. I just move it around, because detritus will cause a lot of nitrate, a lot of ammonia. So I try to have as much flow as possible in my first chamber right here, and that just makes sense because this is where all your media stuff is. And then I try to have a normal amount of flow, but as equal as possible. What do I mean by that? I mean, I want to have some flow coming from the bottom, and that flow would essentially kind of go this way and travel upwards and then to the top. And I want that behind because I want the algae and the rocks to be able to grab as much of the particles and as much of the bacteria that's in the water as possible. And if it's going too fast, then your algae is not going to get a chance to eat all the nitrate and stuff. And then it drops down, and then I just want to trap all the micro bubbles so that I'm not stuck with a bunch of micro bubbles in my tank. It's not harmful. It doesn't do anything to your corals. However, it's just ugly to look at when all your rocks and corals are full of little bubbles and stuff. And then at the bottom, I want to have as much circulation as possible, and that's as simple as that. So on one side, I have the big return pump. I got the Mac drive, and then on the other side, I have the circulation pump, and that's pretty much it, honestly. And then I got my protein skimmer, my badass protein skimmer. I turned it off right now. It's on feed mode. You can see I got my controller in the back there. And controller is pretty cool. So it has 6 different speeds, a feed mode, and a pulsing mode. So if you want to get some of the larger pieces out, you just put it on pulsing mode, and it just kind of like pulses all your skimmate to the top, instead of having some of it fall back down to the bottom and then back up and back down and back up and back down, and then possibly go out of your skimmer or into your collection cup. So yeah, so this is the sump. This is the refugium, the belly of the beast. Anyway, let me upload this beast.